The launch of the highly anticipated retail portion of minting and burning for USDM, the premier fiat-backed stablecoin on Cardano, is officially live. As a part of today's video, I'm going to break down how you can get a piece of the action. What's up, Ada Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central. My name's Fareed. As I just mentioned there, breaking news coming in from the official Moneta global team, breaking down the fact that their USDM retail beta is officially live. And if you want to go ahead and get access, I'm going to break down everything that you need to know in order to get ready. Now, if it's your first time stopping by the channel, I'm to provide you in the Cardano ecosystem with all of the latest breaking news. And so if you want more content like this, number one, make sure to smash that thumbs up on the way in. Number two, consider subscribing to the channel. And then number three, if you have any questions or if I maybe miss anything, right, or that isn't clear, make sure to go ahead and leave a comment down below. Without any further ado, let's jump right on in here. So it states here, the beta program for retail users is officially open today. Individuals in the qualifying US states who'd like to test the beta for retail minting and burning are now invited to apply. Again, I'm going to break down the application process at the very end, but I want to lay down some of the prerequisites or some of the hard requirements that you have to meet in order to be eligible to participate in the retail minting and burning beta. So it states here, and this is a really interesting piece, during the test of the beta, they'll be providing a special fee arrangement for users who participate in the program. Now, if I'm not mistaken, taking a look at the current set of fees for minting and burning for institutional investors or businesses, there's a 0% fee in order to mint. And that's because the team wants to make it as easy as possible and to incentivize, right, people bringing in liquidity. So you're not being charged to mint. However, there is a minimum burn fee of $50. And if you do meet that $50 minimum, there's a 1% burn fee attached all the way up to a maximum amount of $5,000. Now, I've spoken with Matthew Plowman, the president of Moneta, who's obviously developing USDM, and he's mentioned plenty of times that that particular value and those particular numbers are subject to change, given the fact that as time goes on and as things become easier and their model becomes more proven, they aim to reduce the fees to reduce as much friction as possible for anybody who wants to either mint or burn. But I did at least want to highlight that there. Now, there's no confirmation about exactly what the special fee offering is. And there's also no confirmation of whether or not the current fee model for businesses will apply also to retail. Now, some of the hard requirements are the following. Number one is you have to provide KYC. So it states here, be prepared to provide your real name and a government issued ID in order to complete the thorough KYC process in compliance with US regulations. I've got to give it over to this team. This is definitely an area that you don't want to cut corners in. This could definitely come back to haunt them if they do so. And so in order to stay compliant from day one, they're making sure to follow the process all the way through. Again, keep in mind that this is not the first time that they've done this. They've done this with institutional investors and businesses. It's just that now they're doing it for retail. Now, this hopefully isn't any different than providing KYC for a platform like Coinbase or Binance, where you can take a quick picture of your ID, and then hopefully there's some sort of third party that can help to verify that you are who you are and that you live where you say you live relatively quickly or with little to no downtime. Number two, you have to provide or you have to have the appropriate technical resources. And this is pretty simple here. So it mentions the fact that you just need a Cardano wallet that's going to be required with at least 15 ADA. And then you'll also need a traditional bank account in order to transact or in order to move your USD from that bank account using some sort of two-factor authentication method. So those are relatively simple requirements. Of course, again, some of the banks that they support, I'll break some of those down. But as long as you've got that connected, your two-factor auth, and then your Cardano wallet with 15 ADA, you're good to go. One thing they didn't break down here are what wallets are supported. So I would assume bigger wallets, for example, like Nami, Lace Yoroi, Newfi, and Daedalus would be supported, but maybe we'll have to get a little bit more clarity once we actually get to that stage. Next, you have to be in the appropriate location. So it states that in order to burn or mint USDM, you must physically be present in one of the 19 operational states. For the sake of time, I'm not going to go ahead and read these out. I'll just put them up on the screen. But as long as you're within any of these 19 states, you are eligible to join the retail beta. Scrolling down, they also ask for patience. So I'm not sure about you guys, but with my local bank, any transactions made after 10 p.m. at night are basically processed the following day. Very similarly, because there's portions of USDM in the minting and burning process that rely on TradFi services, they are asking for the community to be patient and to allow for at least 1 to 2 days for transactions to settle and appear, hopefully, within their retail minting and burning platform. Number 5, only USD is supported. So keep in mind, again, this is just the early beta. Now, the team has already expanded into Europe. They've partnered up with NBX. In prior updates, they've talked about the fact that they've got ongoing conversations taking place in the Middle East, and they've also even got ongoing conversations taking place in Australia. So over time, the hope is that we're able to see USDM being able to be minted by onboarding different fiat currencies. But for the time being, right now, they only support USD. And so last but not least, to talk about a feedback commitment. So obviously, if you're participating and you're eager to jump into the retail beta program, they're going to want to know exactly what they've done well and what they can improve on. And so it's going to be your job as a early participant, an early adopter who's potentially getting some sort of fee discount to provide that valuable feedback. Now, as we get ready to wrap up here, the team has expanded over into Georgia, but it states here, exciting update, USDM is now available for minting and burning in Georgia. So the team is slowly making progress. I know a lot of people have been super eager. Obviously, this is a big bit of news here about the official retail beta opening up. But in terms of adoption, the team continues to build out not only within US, which is where they're basically based out of, but also abroad, as I mentioned, taking a look at Europe, the Middle East, Australia, etc. Now, in order to actually sign up, you can head over to moneta.global, and I'll leave this particular page down below. But you can just click on retail beta here, and you'll be asked to provide your full name and your email, the state you live in, the bank provider that you use. And so looking here at the list, I mean, this is relatively thorough. Chase, BOA, Wells Fargo. I mean, if you're within the United States, this is a pretty decent list of some of the bigger banks. Obviously, I'm not seeing a lot of like the smaller or local banks, but relatively speaking, this should hopefully cover the majority of users. Now, it states here the USD to USDM trading range. You can highlight exactly how much you want to trade with or how much you want to onboard for the retail beta, starting from 0 all the way to 20,000 plus. You can also confirm that you're willing to consent to the KYC process and that you'll have your two-factor authentication in order to transfer funds from your personal bank account into the Moneta or the USDM mint and burn platform. Now, as we get ready to wrap up, we are just shy of $8 million worth of the stablecoin minted on chain. And this is, of course, about 6 months into the maturity of the actual project. Now, what's interesting is that USDA will be launching with around the same amount of liquidity. And earlier today, we actually had an additional mint for about 20,000 USDM. So mints are continuing to come in. More stablecoins are coming into the ecosystem. And on top of that, Bitcoin is starting to look a little bit more bullish. So in terms of liquidity, this is exactly what we want to see. Now, before I close out here, I just want to quickly highlight the fact that if you just want to find out more about USDM or Moneta, you can head over to the official website. This breaks down the use cases of the fiat-backed stablecoin, and it also highlights some of the quickest DEXs that you can get access to the stablecoin from. And then at the very bottom here, they break down some of their unique propositions or their unique offerings. That'll do it here for today's video. Again, just wanted to keep this relatively brief. Again, providing some breaking news about the official retail beta kicking off for USDM. I've received countless questions about when this would officially happen. The time is now. Hopefully you're able to join. And if you're within the US and you qualify, take advantage of that opportunity, because you never know what exactly the team will be rewarding you with for being an early adopter, for being an OG, and for being willing to provide that valuable feedback. That will do it here for today's video. Again, if you found this to be helpful or informational, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. If it's your first time stopping by and you want more content like this, consider subscribing. And last but not least, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave those down below. That said, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.